This is Clara, or depending on the version, she's sometimes called Marie or Masha, so for the sake of simplicity, we'll just call her Clara Marie Masha. It is Christmas Eve at Clara Marie Masha's house. Also present are Clara Marie Masha's father, her mother, her little brother Fritz, and several dozen friends of the family. Some of whom are marathon runners, I guess. That's cool. They all dance around a bunch because that's what humans had to do to avoid talking to one another before we had iPads. But then, her weird godfather Drosselmeyer shows up, who is apparently a pirate. Cool. In most productions, Drosselmeyer is a weird old man who is also a clockmaker and a magician. Basically, imagine someone so creepy they get turned away from the magic castle and instead come to your home to give your children mystery presents. But he doesn't have a gift for Clara Marie Masha, so she pouts, just the way you'd expect a person with 3 names to do. Then, Weird Drosselmeyer creates a bunch of weird life-size soldier dolls, who of course dance around with their danger hands going everywhere. It's cool, but just barely makes sense, like an only okay episode of Doctor Who. But then, Clara Marie Masha begs Drosselmeyer for a present, and he magically creates a creepy little Nutcracker doll, a little doll designed to break nuts with its teeth. It is terrifying. The girls all dance with their toy dolls. It is lovely. But then, the effing boys ruin it. They get jealous and break the Nutcracker doll in a textbook display of toxic masculinity. But Weird Drosselmeyer fixes the Nutcracker in some weird, creepy way, probably using dark science and secrets only the Sith knew. Then everybody dances some more, and everybody leaves. But Clara Marie Masha is starved for attention, so she comes running back in and falls asleep under the Christmas tree, holding the Nutcracker. Now, it gets weird. Everything grows. The Christmas tree, the toy soldiers, the audience's expectations. Suddenly, there are giant mice everywhere. Ooh, the mice are evil, which seems like an analogy for something, maybe better nuclear waste management, who knows? Then, in a burst of blatant Freudian imagery, the little wooden Nutcracker grows to an enormous size. The Nutcracker and his soldiers fight with the mice. Then, the evil Mouse King shows up. Bam! The Mouse King looks like someone, Mads Mikkelsen? Maybe, I don't really know. But then, the mice and the man, they fight and they dance, they fight and they dance, they fight and they dance. It is totally a trailer moment. Suddenly, Clara Marie Masha realizes the focus is not on her. So, she throws her shoe at the Mouse King. Bam! The Mouse King goes down. He's injured, right? No. The Mouse King is dead. She murdered him with a shoe. She killed the Mouse Patriarch with her ballet slipper. This is some straight up Mad Max Fury Road stuff, and it is awesome. Then, the Nutcracker yells, "I am the Nutcracker," snaps the Infinity Gauntlet, and turns into a prince. Some of that might not be entirely accurate. But then, a bunch of dancing snowflakes guide Clara Marie Masha and her new Nut Prince off the stage. At this point, the narrative is entirely finished. But there's a whole second act anyway. So, the snowflakes take Clara Marie Masha and the Nut Prince to the land of sweets, which is ruled by the Sugar Plum Fairy. What the hell's a Sugar Plum Fairy? Who knows? Just accept it. In a burst of repetition, the Nut Prince acts out what just happened during the fight with the Mouse King. It is like a Batman movie that shows you his parents getting murdered twice in one film. Everyone in the land of sweets is happy that the Mouse King got killed by a shoe, so they dance. First up, the Spanish dancers, who are associated with chocolate. Then the Chinese dancers, who are associated with tea and jazz hands, I guess. The Russian dancers, who are angry but stylish. Then the Arabian dancers, who are associated with coffee and doing the splits with their hands. Wow, that is amazing. Basically, this whole thing is just a progression of cultural stereotypes. So some Irish people show up with Guinness and they're like, "Sláinte," and then some Canadians are friendly at you. They're like, hello, sorry. And then I think some Daleks show up and they're like, exterminate. And then Grogu sips some bone broth. Oh, Grogu. But then, Mother Ginger shows up. She's a super weird lady with a big hoop skirt that children come flying out of. And finally, the Sugar Plum Fairy does a dance, which is a huge letdown after a woman just pooped kids out of a skirt. And apparently, none of this entertainment is good enough for Clara Marie Masha, so the Nut Prince takes her home and dumps her back under the Christmas tree. When she wakes up, the Nutcracker is no longer a prince, but just a dumb piece of wood. Turns out it was all a terribly disturbing Freudian dream. Or was it? And that is The Nutcracker, a thing we take our children to. The end.